Hello guys, today's video gonna be VS chassis basic foundation setup video number 4 version 2, and the version 1 it is we did the transmission setup. It is a little bit complicated, but it's the advantage of version 1 it is easy to replace the Kroenke, which is right here. Okay, so today the version 2 it is gonna be a little bit easier, but the disadvantage of using version 2 it is really hard for you to replace the gear because everything gonna be glued together. But the advantage of using version 2, which is gonna do today's video, it is all the system or the gear system is gonna be more precise and more accurate, and the spin is gonna be works a little bit better than the version 1. Okay, first we're gonna starting to modify the chassis a little bit. So the point we're gonna modify it is the point right here, the little gear notch right here, but it's outside. Okay, as you can see, just marked as black. So we're gonna make these pieces right here a little bit bigger. And the second we're gonna modify it is right here. Okay, we're gonna remove a little bit right here. Okay, so let's take a look at it again. It is outside right here. We're gonna make it a little bit bigger, and inside here we're gonna do the same thing. And we're gonna using the Dremel right here. Okay, and also we're gonna using the 4mm diamond bit, which is right here. Okay, and we're gonna put on the 5,000 RPM, a little bit lower. Gonna be looks like this. Let me give a better angle. As you can see here, make it a little bit bigger, and the same thing here, the center, which is this piece right here. So moving to the next, just gonna go ahead using the knife or anything smaller, and we can remove all the scrap. Okay. Okay. So after that, just using the air compressor, just below a little bit right here, all the scrap. Okay. And move to the next. After we finish the chassis modification, we're gonna go ahead and modify to pinion gear, which right here. It's better recommend using those purple one come from box stock because it's more soft. It is very easy to trim on it because the carbon fiber it is too hard. We're gonna using the battery box like this one. You can easily find it online. And we're gonna using a Hyper Dash 3 motor right here. We're gonna set the pinion gear on top of the Hyper Dash 2, and using the plastic cutter to remove all the T. Okay. Okay, it's gonna be looks like this. Okay. Next, we're gonna using 2 battery to turn the motor on. Okay. Then using a flat files, starting to trim the head, which is the plastic remove like this. Okay. So one's getting very skinny, and we're gonna to cut part of it because it's too long. So we only need a part of it. We're gonna cut it like this. Okay, just keep about 3mm or 4mm like this. Okay, just gonna go ahead and turn the power off. And then next we're gonna using a pinion gear puller, which is right here. But make sure you wanna using the pinion gear puller because you don't wanna damage any side of this, because right now the gear has become very small and very fragile. So if you're using your hand or anything else, it's gonna be damaged the other side of the surface. So it's better to using a pinion gear puller. So in this case, you still can keep it really flat on the other side of the surface without damage it. So it's gonna be like this. And next we're gonna trim the crown gear, which right here. This is a carbon fiber crown gear. And in my previous video, I'm using the regular plastic, which is box stock crown gear right here. This is right here, because today's system is gonna be very hard for future if you want to replace crown gear. So it is better for us right now for this system we doing today. It's better to using a carbon fiber reinforced because it can last a little bit longer. Okay, for trim the crown gear, which is right here, it's pretty simple. All you need just any kind of chassis like this. So what I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna put a shaft right here, and make sure it's a 72mm shaft, and put the weir shaft stopper, which is right here on this end, this one right here. You can find this one on the market as well. Okay, and make sure you're using a 4.0 gear ratio, which right here is the brown one plus the black one right here. And the model, because this gear is carbon fiber reinforced, so I'm gonna use a little bit stronger model, which is the Hyper Dash 2, which is right here. Go ahead and put the model into the chassis, and the counter gear right here. Okay, and the gear cap, put it back. Okay, next we're gonna do it is gonna put a roller spacer right here. Okay, and the gear, make sure this side edges face out like this. And then next we're gonna using this type of the copper, looks like copper, some kind of copper spacer. Okay, right here, and I make sure attached to here. And next gonna using a 6mm aluminum spacer right here. And another side, same, we're gonna using a wheel stopper right here to lock the other side. So let me go ahead. So again, this is all Tamiya parts. Okay, so you can easily find on the market. Okay, then moving to the next, just go ahead and put the battery on and turn on, make sure everything's fine. And next we're gonna go ahead using the number 100 sandpaper, which is right here. Okay, the next gonna turn the power on. Make sure we're gonna go ahead and trim the edges right here 45 degrees, and gently touch it like this. Okay, make sure trim a little bit slow, because if you trim too fast, the plastic gonna be melt, because this type of the carbon fiber reinforced is really hard for sand off. So it's better take your time and slowly be patient. Okay, I just finished. So let's put side by side. If you can see the difference, let me go ahead, give you a better angle. So as you can see, the one versus untrimmed, has more offset edges on this side. So again, it's better to just trim the edges a little bit, because we want this edges bypass a little bit on the side, which is on chassis right here. So you can see every chassis, VS chassis, have a little bit of bar right here, and also have a little bit right here. And the same thing here is a flat surface. So you want to trim off edges a little bit, because in this case the side of edges can bypass hitting the edges right here. Okay, so you can see like this. Okay, just finish all the trim. So have the 2 little penny gear right here modified, and the 2 crown gear being modified as well. And as you notice, the way I trim 2 different sizes. One is very small and the other one is a little bit bigger. So the one for the one a little bit smaller, that's the one for the front, because the front you don't really have too much space, so you have to trim as small as possible. But for the one in the back, you have plenty space, so you can keep the most of it. Okay. So moving to the next, just gonna go ahead and do the installation. The installation actually it's kind of simple. It's not really too complicated. First, we're gonna put the 620 ball bearing. Okay, and the next, I'm gonna put like this, the bigger penny gear which right here, and we're gonna put right here. Okay, and the next gonna be the crown gear right here. Okay, like this. It's gonna be like this. And the next, we're gonna put a usually what I do, I put a 1.5 millimeter aluminum spacer, okay, and a plus the motor spacer. Okay, motor spacer, I have to repeat that again. The motor spacer, usually you can find locate on the motor, the tips right here. See, there's one motor space right here. Let me give a better angle if you can see it. Let me put a bit bigger, clear. See, here's motor spacer right here. Actually, here's 2 motor spacer, so it's located right here. Okay, so you can find, if you don't have it, just open one of the box stock motor, you will find it. Okay, so what I do it is I put a motor spacer, usually 1 or 2. It really depends because every chassis is different. Usually 1, at least 1. So sometimes I put a 2. It really depends on the gap. Okay, next I'm gonna put a, this time let me try put 2. Okay, and the next it is the aluminum 1.5 aluminum spacer right here. So we're gonna push everything all the way against the crown gear over there, so it's gonna be, looks like this. And the next we're gonna try to put the shaft gear, which is the yellow one right here, and we're gonna try to like this and push everything back, and gonna be, looks like this. The next gonna put the other side of the 620 ball bearing right here. So in this case we have to make sure, see, I put in 2 motor spacer, looks like too much, so I got a block. So in this case you have to take it out and do that again. And again, this position have to be repeating until you get the right spot. Okay, because it is really hard for adjust the gap, because every chassis is different. So I can't tell you exactly how many motor spacer you need, but at least just try put more first, so you can slowly adjust it. Okay, until you get the right dimension. Okay, so this time I reduce 1, I put it back again, and let's try it again. Okay, it looks like this time's okay. Okay, next we're gonna try to put a propeller shaft, and I'm gonna take a look at make sure the propeller shaft and the gear is biting on the right position, because you want to make sure the propeller shaft, which is right here, and you have to really take a look at it. Make sure the crown gear, which is right here, when joined with the propeller shaft gear on the shaft. Okay, make sure it's not really too tight. Like this one's okay, like this. Okay, so you have to keep adjusting. It's really hard for I really tell you how many gap you need. You have to just keep take off and put it back on, take off, put it back on until it feels smooth like this. Okay. Okay, then moving to the next, we're gonna do the front. Front actually it's a little bit simple. And the front, all I need to do it is put a 1 gear right here, and the 620 ball bearing on this end, and right here. And remember the small one we have, and let's put right here. like this. Okay, so just make sure this one don't push it too tight, just make sure it's over there, and try to spin a little bit. See, it's not bad, huh? So we not gonna glue anything yet until we finish the wheel. So moving to the next, I'm gonna install the wheel. Okay, so before I do the installation of the wheel, there's one very important the setting I have to mention. Make sure your shaft is straight, because most shaft out of the box is not straight. For testing the shaft straight, it is really complicated, because most people they don't have the tool like the one I got this from Japan. This is the shaft tester, but if with this shaft tester, it's very easy to tell the shaft is straight or not, because if the shaft not straight, you won't pass. If you don't have the tool like this, there's another way you can tell the shaft if it's straight or not, but it's not really recommend. But if you don't have no choice, you don't have this tool, that's the only way, and it is get a mirror and put a shaft on top of the mirror, and then you keep turning. Let me give it better. If you keep turning and using your eye level, look like this, and on the other side of mirror you can see the reflection on the mirror side. So if not straight, you're gonna see the edges of the shaft is gonna be a little bit crooked in the mirror. So usually the shaft is only crooked on either side, okay, not the middle, either this side or either this side. Okay, so it's really have to taking some time, really look at it. You're gonna see a little bit different once put on the mirror. It's really hard for me to demonstrate to you, because by the video it's really hard. You have to keep really concentrate, take a look at it. But I kind of gave up the mirror, because I used to do that, but it's not really. It is okay to tell some of shaft it's really cook a lot, but for the shaft only cook a little bit. It's really hard for using mirror to tell. But anyway, the best way is still highly recommend this shaft tester. But anyway, let's keep moving to the wheel installation. For the wheel installation, and make sure you have to using this type of the roller spacer, which is right here. Let me give better angle. Okay, so the reason you want to insert a roller spacer on the side of it right here is preventing the little tips right here on the wheel. It's block the ball bearing. So okay, so make sure each side has the roller spacer, okay, on each end, okay, like this. Okay, some people also using a modal spacer, which is right here. Yeah, you can, if you don't want to using a roller spacer, this is another option you have. Most of my car using modal spacer. The reason why it is low friction, so it's really up to you. But it's basically it works almost same thing. So it just depends on your on your setting, because roller spacer usually make your wheel stick out a little bit like more. But it's really up to you. Okay, after push both ends of the wheel, you can see it's got a block. Okay, it's because most people, when they pushing the wheel on both ends, it's just too hard, and that's why it's got a block. So only way you can adjust, you have to using wheel puller. I've been repeating so many times the benefit of wheel puller, because when using hand to release and loose a little bit, it's really hard, because usually you just force it. Okay, you probably make it a little bit loose, too loose. Okay, so with wheel puller, so you can simply just adjust the as many as you want it. Okay, so like this. So I'm just gonna using wheel puller to probably adjust 1.5 millimeter gap. Okay, so just a little bit hitting right here, so you can see it's getting loose, and it's not really loose all the way. You can see it's still really no waggle. Okay, same thing on the front, got a block. I'm just gonna using wheel puller to adjust a little bit. For the wheel puller part, go ahead and watching my video of review on the wheel puller, also watching the video of the wheel piercer. So this is all the thing you have to know, because it's really complicated for me on this video to teach you step by step to set up the wheel like the way I did. Okay, so just make sure everything is on the right position, and then next put everything back. Okay, like this. Make sure everything spin right, and it's a little loose. Okay, and here like this, see, still can move. So you're gonna push the pinion gear, this end, the pinion gear right here, a little bit back to the right position. Just make sure right now you're gonna starting to adjust it. Make sure when you push to the other end, make sure the gear is biting on the right position like this. Okay, some people, they push all the way, okay, like this, so it got a block. See that? It's got a block. So in this case, you have to loosen up a little bit and keep like adjust it. It's really hard to tell because this part, it is the time consuming. You have to keep adjust, make sure it's on the right position, and until it's like this. Okay, same thing on the front. Just make sure you have this one put all right. Oh, make sure all the T right here. Okay, all the T right here, and when they spin, all the T was on the right gap. Okay, so how you tell the right gap? When the green tea and the black tea, when they biting together, make sure you have to make sure that they have to keep a little bit gap, probably 0.1 millimeter. Okay, if they join all the way 100%, like join all each other, it's gonna be blocked. Okay, you have to keep a little bit gap, let them can move a little bit freely. Okay, like this one right here. Okay, let me make sure everything's spin right, and I put everything back. Okay, like this. And then moving to the next, we're gonna go ahead using a crazy glue to seal the pinion gear. Okay, so we're gonna drop a little bit of crazy glue right here and right here. Okay, I just applied some crazy glue on the pinion gear, so it's already dry, so everything was pretty it's already strong enough. Okay, so moving to the next. Okay, so again, before you glue everything, make sure everything on correct position. So the couple point, you have to be really careful. First point is right here. Make sure you have to keep a little bit gap right here, preventing this Kroenke right here is hitting the edge, making a fraction right here. And also here, make sure, remember we trim off a little bit right here on the side edges of the Kroenke, so it can bypass. Let me get a better angle if you can see it. So when this Kroenke spins, it's bypass this little edge right here. It's preventing it's hitting a contact with the edges right here, so there's no more fraction, especially when this piece right here is keep the Kroenke tool against to this side right here, so it's Kroenke no longer can move to the other direction. Okay, so it's gonna be stay here forever. Okay, in the next, we're gonna go ahead and modify the propeller shaft. Well, the propeller shaft, let me give you some sample. For the original propeller shaft, this is the original 1.4 millimeter propeller shaft. As you can see, let me get a better angle. As you can see, the propeller shaft, the little edges right here, little edges right on the top of the tips right here, it's hitting, listen, it's hitting the edges on the Kroenke, which is right here. You can see right here, also a little bit hitting right here. Okay, so you can see it's almost contact over there. So same thing on the front, it's gonna be hitting over there because now both edges is sharp, so that's why you are hitting it like this. Okay, so the only way you can make the bypass, you have to do a little bit modification on the propeller shaft. It is, we're gonna using a cutter, or either if you don't have a cutter, it's okay, you can use a knife. Okay, 45 degree like this. Okay, to remove a little bit tips. So I'm just gonna go ahead and using the plastic cutter like this. See, 45 degree. Let me give a better angle. You can see the detail. Okay, 45 degree like this. You're gonna move a little bit like here. Same thing let me focus a little bit. You can see same thing here. Okay, same thing here. Okay, so you can see the difference. See that it's giving a little bit offset. Okay, finish both ends. After you finish, the tips should be looks like this. Let me zoom in. You can see. So the tip's gonna be a little bit round on the offset. Let me give you another one. You can see the difference. Okay, so let me put it side by side. Okay, as you can see, this one has offset, this one don't. Okay, this is how you bypass the setting right here. Okay, so as you can see, after you have the offset setting right here on the gear, so the tips on the green gear right here and on the tips on the black gear, which is the Kroenke gear right here, it's no longer hitting. Okay, because it's bypassed that. See that? Let me give better angle if you can see the detail. See that? It's bypassed. Especially on this side of yellow gear, you already can tell it's already bypassed. It's nothing hitting. So this is how you reduce a little bit resistance between the Kroenke gear and the propeller shaft. Okay. Next, we're gonna go ahead and put everything back. The terminal and the switch. Okay. Switch. Okay. And the motor. Okay, make sure you're using box stock motor. Put the gear cap back. Okay. The next, we're gonna go ahead for the battery. Make sure you put some oil. It's really up to you, but I highly recommend using this extra soft, the Tamiya. This is actually for sliding damper, but it's better to using this one because this one is more soft. So for braking, this is very good grease. Okay, next put the battery back and turn everything on. Okay, make sure everything works. And next, we're just gonna go ahead and set the whole system on top of can. This. Okay, and turn the power on. Let the whole system to keep running for at least half hour. Okay. Okay, it's right now about 45 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the power off. So the whole system are being run more than half hour. Let's take a result of breaking the gear. So let me open the gear cap and remove the motor. And, okay, so this is the transmission right now. You can see it's very smooth than before. And let's try put a gear cap back and test again. So I'm pretty sure, as you notice, the whole transmission getting really quiet and very smooth. So it's really important for you, like after setting up everything, to break the gear system, because the brand new gear system is like when you purchase a new vehicle, all the transmission, the gear, and the gearbox really tight. So it's at least take like a little bit of time to getting a brand new transmission, the gear system to getting a break in, because it's gonna be helping to the gap. It's getting more loose and make the gap a little bit like more smooth. Okay, we just finished here today. For the next video, I'm gonna teach you how to do the front bumper on the VS chassis.